if you hear me.
What's good, people, and welcome back to another episode of HIYHM News Drop, the weekly show where we discuss the biggest and best stories from the WWE from this week. Joining me, as always, is the kayfabe assassin, Mr. Andy Nero, and the ring historian has returned to the shores of Angleterre. Dirty Dave is back, ladies and gentlemen. As if you don't know who I am, your humble host, Fraz, the common man. I would just like to encourage anyone that watches this video to like, share, fucking leave comments. We rely on the algorithm, yeah, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe so you never miss a beat. Now, before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say on Thursday we lost one of wrestling's greatest icons of all time, Mr. Hulk Hogan. Very saddened to hear the news. I know he wasn't a particularly nice person, in my opinion. However, you have to respect what he's done for the business. Truly a Mount Rushmore. I cannot speak highly enough of him when he was in NWO. Very influential time in my life. And I'm sure you'll all join me in wishing our condolences to his family, friends, and the whole wrestling community. Agreed. Gentlemen, shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do this.
Can I just say one thing?
Of course.
How honoured I was that last week I got quite a few mentions in a few shows. But I seem to think Andy made reference to my shorts, so I just thought, like they're so good. I don't know if you can see them.
They're as good as John Cena.
Oh, you can't see them.
Can't see them.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
They're my shorts. So this is what the boys got to see last week.
Oh, we saw a bit more than that, though, didn't we?
And they're the best. They were the best shorts around the pool. You've got to show these kids how it's done.
I'll tell you what I did see, just to quickly round that off, and I will keep it on point, Faraz. Some excellent moves from one Dirty Dave. I think we need to get you in the ring, big man. You and Alfie, actually, to be fair.
What about Mini Alfie, eh?
Yeah.
He doesn't sell enough. I was very disappointed, actually.
Well, I mean, there was a part of me that was wondering if you were trying to drown him or do a move to him, but it was kind of a combination of both. But either way, I applauded the disregard for his health and safety. So well done.
Yeah,
Love it.
we were in too deep a water, so that you couldn't really fully execute the moves. But if we went any shallower, the lifeguard woman kept blowing a whistle and kicking off at us. But of course, I can't speak Spanish, so I didn't give a shit. But so. Everything was like a half move, like an angle slam. He comes out of the water for like 2 seconds and then he's back in it again. But yeah, he survived, and I pulled a groin muscle, so it's all good.
Magic. Well, with that fantastic, fascinating, interesting, super magical moment that Andy and Dave have shared on camera, let's talk about the main talking points on Raw and SmackDown this week. I don't know about you guys. I mean, I have been a big advocate of the product since we've been doing the show, and I don't like shitting on stuff, but I thought that the go-home shows for SummerSlam were pretty weak. SmackDown, obviously we had the horrible news about Hogan the day before. They came out, heartfelt tribute with Triple H. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the hilarious memes and stuff of the only black person there was Aleister Black. Excellent. But yeah, it just, I don't know. Cody's promo. Andy, I asked you about the one last week, so Dave, I'm going to put it to you. Thoughts on Cody's promo? It's very, very similar to pre-WrestleMania, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole show on Friday probably suffered from a bit of that, the Hogan vibe. Cody didn't go straight into character, did he? He even said a few bits that sort of linked to that. I think that was my overriding view of SmackDown. I actually thought it went relatively quick, but yeah, it didn't grab me. But we've got one more SmackDown though as a go-home show, to be fair. So I think that's the saving grace for us. But yeah, I wasn't over enamored with anything that captivated me from Cody, to be fair.
Other than that, talking points of the show, I've got Wyatt Sicks defended their titles against Andrade and Rey Fenix. I haven't seen either SmackDown or Raw. I've just seen highlights, so I can only go off what I've seen. Andy, still find it boring?
I'll be honest with you. I'm actually having to look through notes to see what happened on SmackDown. I watched it. I watched the fucking show, and I can't remember a goddamn thing about it. It was really forgettable for me. You guys alluded to it. Cody being white meat babyface. I'm so bored of that. I liked what he did last week with a bit of viciousness to Cena, but this just felt like a regression back to white meat babyface again. But beyond that, I really can't say I remember a whole lot, which is indicative of the fact that it was a kind of meh episode of SmackDown, perhaps. But yeah, I don't know about you.
Yeah, my literal main talking points were Cody, the tribute, Jade Cargill beating Chelsea Green with Secret Hervis obviously coming in to interfere and beat the fuck out of her, and then Tiffy comes out to save the day.
That's right,
and then we have just the Wyatt Sicks beating Rey, Fenix and Andrade. I don't know, was there some bloodline stuff as well? I shouldn't call it bloodline. Solo and Jacob.
Jacob versus the Miz, weren't it? And then of course you have a little melee at the end. What else was there? Jelly Roll came out to start the show sort of properly.
Yeah.
I thought that was a bit anticlimactic to start the show with. And then you had Alexa and Roxy Perez was the first match. Yeah, I don't think it started hot, and I don't think it got it hotter. I just think it was a very simmering show.
Understandable.
Yeah, and let's face it, the only real talking point, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, is the fact that we're going to have the biggest TLC match in WWE history at SummerSlam, which is going to be interesting because sometimes too many chefs spoil the broth. So I don't know. I know Money in the Bank got a bit like that at WrestleManias. It sort of went to 8 people to 10 people, and you're sort of like, whoa, hang on a minute. Everyone's getting a spot, but they're not really getting time to shine. So I'm intrigued. I love the fact, 25 years ago, SummerSlam, TLC was created at SummerSlam 2000, but I don't know. Not sure if we can do it with this many people.
Okay.
There's a reason. There's a saying: less is more. More is not always more, and sometimes it's just crap. So who knows? But we'll see, I suppose.
Raw, Jey Uso and Bronson Reed was probably the highlight of the night. Double spear from Bron Breakker showing once again he is the future, he is the man.
Not just that, but he was excellent on the mic as well. Earlier in the show, he had a nice little segment backstage with Paul and Bronson. That was excellent.
And in ring when he was shouting at Reigns.
Yeah,
I thought but made that whole situation feel really gritty and real. When you're actually shouting at the person you're kicking his ass at the same time, and stealing his trainers, which is always a bonus.
Oh, loved that.
Yeah, sorry, I should have started with that, Andy. You did say that was your favourite part of the weekend.
Yeah, that was my pop of the entire week when it comes to wrestling. That and cool.
No, I was just saying, yeah. Bronson Reed taking sneakers.
Yeah.
You got to know that the show was very good if that was the highlight.
Yeah.
It's as I say, it's I get what happened with Hogan and stuff, but it just felt everything on SmackDown and Raw felt a little flat considering they're trying to promote the first ever 2-night SummerSlam. there's some huge matches. I am so looking forward to SummerSlam. If you go back a few weeks and watch our videos, Dave, you in particular were concerned about them having to fill 2 nights.
Deeply.
They're doing 3-hour pre-shows for each night as well. So we're going to have the best part of 12 hours of wrestling on Saturday and Sunday.
16 hours, they reckon, in total.
Yeah,
they're gonna do. That's I saw today. Yeah,
it's absolute madness. And I get it. They're all the matches are there, aren't they? They're nothing's going to change. They're not particularly going to add anything on there unless it's a pre-show match. So stuff like Lyra attacking Becky with a kendo stick and AJ getting a pin over Dom in that mixed triple or 6-man tag, wasn't it? With the Kabuki Warriors and Roxy and Raquel. It all just, I guess it's supposed to feed into build up a bit of heat or momentum for one of the competitors in their respective matches at SummerSlam, but it just didn't have that. Well, there was nothing that happened on either show where I was like, damn, this is really, even Gunther and Punk, which I was super psyched for last week. Great promo. This week, just a little, I don't know, flat is the word.
I think you're right. I think there's nothing that made me think, oh my God, I've got to watch SummerSlam. But I do want to watch SummerSlam. The matches I'm really interested in, but Raw's build to any of them didn't do it for me at all. I completely see where you're coming from, and I agree, to be fair. And maybe the massive pre-shows are a WWE sort of consequence of the fact that they've lost TV time because of Hogan or whatever, and they haven't built. Or, to be honest, we're only giving ourselves 3 weeks between each event anyway, which is not enough time anyway. But so when something goes wrong in those 3 weeks, you haven't even got time to fix it. So maybe that's why the pre-show is going to be huge. Also, if I play devil's advocate just for a second, there could also be a chance that, if something doesn't really happen on Raw or SmackDown, then maybe we really are going to get some swerves at the pay-per-view. How many times do we go into pay-per-views and we do our predictions and we're like, oh, this could happen, this could happen, this could happen. And it doesn't. It's relatively run-of-the-mill. I think Andy sort of said a few weeks ago, a lot of the PLEs are, pedestrian, they're pretty obvious. They're good. There's nothing wrong, but there's nothing that goes, oh my God, that, I can't believe we just saw that. Not since Elimination Chamber, really. So maybe SummerSlam's going to be huge, and maybe, they're not giving it all to us in the build-up. But it's chicken or the egg. If you don't get people interested, then the payoff isn't going to be worth it, is it?
Correct on all fronts there, David. I for one, think something massive is going to happen at SummerSlam on both nights.
Yeah,
I think we'll probably without spoiling prediction shows, but I think we'll probably see Seth on night 1 and we'll probably see Rock on night 2. My thoughts anyway. Just to close the show out, gents, I've got some other news bits that piqued my interest this week. Mr. Drew McIntyre cutting promos in the UK with cows because he can't get back into the country. Incredible. Andy, you were the one who told me all the deets about this. What's the latest? Is he actually back, or is he getting back?
Well, I mean, I believe it's something to do with probably his visa or ICE in the US not letting him in the country or not letting him out the country. But either way, it doesn't at the moment, short of something happening drastically over the weekend, over the last few days, it looks like it's going to be The Miz in his place, which is interesting to a degree. I mean, Logan Paul and The Miz have a history. Randy Orton and The Miz have a history, so it could be a nice change. The Miz hasn't really been doing a whole lot on TV recently since he dropped Carmelo, or Carmelo dropped him. But yeah,
that's a very good point.
It'd be a shame not to see Drew, though. I mean, we all love Drew.
Oh, hugely
Drew's the man, and he deserves his spot. But shit happens at the end of the day.
Forgive me here. Is it not as simple as someone just WWE flying someone out to Scotland, presumably, is where he is, and giving him his American passport so he can then come back?
You'd think so.
I don't really see but forgive me here.
Why can't his wife do it?
Maybe I'm getting a little bit, well, maybe she's out there with him, who knows, but maybe it's a work. Maybe it's all a work to create some kind of publicity, especially amongst the wrestling community, because it's not like that's going to make main news. Oh, Jelly Roll's opponent is stuck in Scotland. It could just be for fans such as yourselves that are not particularly didn't love the idea of Jelly Roll being on the card and having taken someone else's spot. But
oh yeah, and put the Miz in to really cheer us up.
well, I mean, he's tried and tested, isn't he?
He's
You
safe.
can't. Yeah,
I think-
he's proper.
I think he
safe.
might-
I mean, he hosted WrestleMania, did he not?
Did he? You might be onto something because Drew is the master of social media, isn't he? So maybe it's that. But I do know, without going on, because we want to close the show, but my sister-in-law's American. They've gone back to America for the summer, and it's a nightmare. They're just being really picky. It's like their tourism is down through the floor because of Trump, and their way of dealing with it is to be even more picky and funny with people who do want to go into the country, which seems odd to me, even other Americans. So I can see it because I know that she's had massive problems getting back this summer, so it very well could be real.
Indeedy weedy. So my final bits of news that perked my intrigue was Mr. McMahon in a car, in some kind of car crash and is getting done for reckless driving. Apparently, see that, David?
I can fully believe that. I used to watch Bruce Pritchard's podcast before I did this show. Obviously, I don't watch anything now because we're the be all and end all. And he's told many stories, as has Jim Ross, as to Vince's driving from TV to Connecticut and back. This is not unusual behaviour for Vince whatsoever. He's getting older. His reaction's going to be worse. And if he's in the car with a woman at the same time, then who knows what distractions may or may not occur. If that actually happened, it's all alleged at the moment. Higher chance it was a bloke. Anyway.
Well, that is fascinating that you say that, David, because, ladies and gentlemen, please don't just watch this video. We've got loads of videos, and the hot takes video we've got coming up shortly is going to blow your mind with one that I plucked out. It is absolute gold, Vince McMahon at his best. That being said, don't forget to comment on this video. Don't forget to watch all our other videos. Please share this with your friends and subscribe. I love you both. Thank you for your time. And once again, adios, amigos.
Sayonara.
Shorts. Very sexy shorts.